Well, it's the second week of LCS with coverage brought to you by Alienware. It's the very first day. I'm joined right now by Huni with from TSM to talk about their game against Golden Guardians. First off, Huni, good to talk to you. It's been a while.
It's been a while. It's been a while. No
Yes.
time, no talk.
Well, I'm glad to chat with you. I miss our very fun conversations in the parking lot out in front of the LCS.
Absolutely.
Every
single day when there's a match.
Yes.
Our conversations going on.
Yes.
At the parking lot in LCS, but it's so sad to not happening anymore.
I know. Well, anyway, so I wanted to talk to you a little bit about that match first off because it looked for a while like Golden Guardians was going to beat you, and given that so many people, there's so many rookies on that team, I think people were a little surprised. So why was it that you guys were struggling compared to that kind of newbie team?
Yeah, I mean that's what I thought too. That we're gonna just about to lose. But the thing is, like, I think you can absolutely consider just Golden Guardians as kind of like new team, but like actually what we shown like at the first week and at the lock-in tournament, like as ourselves too, like even though we have some like veteran player, like it's kind of like how do I say it? It's like right now it's taking some time that like getting more used to, I'll say, because like I think right now it's like really different players that has a different mindset or like how we want to approach the game to win. It's kind of different, and also we're making a lot of mistakes like since we've been kind of losing. Like I think also like especially our stage the match is kind of weird. I think our performances gets like way worse like compared to scrims, and that's why I think it's like a really unusual thing is really happening on the match. It makes like worse and worse. So probably that's why even though we're not like newbie, but it looks like we're also kind of like newbie team.
Yeah,
I think that's like kind of main problem right now that don't really play like same as like scrim.
So you feel as though TSM is playing much better in scrims.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely I would say. Also like individually myself too, like some reason I think the like go by through the from the lock-in tournament and week 1, I think we kind of lost like some confidence like playing on the stage, and that makes that kind of worse. But I believe we're gonna be catching up better because like when you're playing well in scrim, like no matter what, I don't know how long that's gonna take, but for sure it's gonna related to the match day, like someday.
Are you worried because you actually have less time now with the split being so condensed? There's only like a month or so before the start of playoffs. So does that worry you at all, the short time frame?
Yeah, that's actually a good point that we were actually talking about, like comparing the 9 weeks and right now we have 6 weeks, which is that there's like 30 days on match day and 3 days on scrim day. It's kind of like not, I would say it's not optimal for us right now is doing, but I think we should just take like could be advantage as long as we are having some learn from the stage. Like as I said it, even though it's like shorter time, but it's the same amount of the game. Like we still play like 18 games, which is like the same thing. So as long as I think we take some like even though we lose, I think if we take something from the lose and get playing for improve, I think it's gonna be worth it. Like as long as we are going playoff,
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, you got to get to playoffs.
Yeah, if you don't go playoff, like I'm not sure what's happening then.
Yeah. Well, okay, so you are a player, by the way, that I felt, your pickup by TSM was somewhat controversial. A lot of people were saying like, "Oh, Huni, he's whatever." There's some people even that say, I think Doublelift might have said that he felt like he thought Hanser would have been a better starter for TSM than you. So, what do you think of all the criticism that you've had and sort of the community reaction to you, the mixed feelings?
I mean, I take those. Like there's always a hater, and it's been a while. Like when I just joined, it was like even worse when I just joined the Fnatic, or like when I just joined the SKT. Honestly,
yeah.
Like people were like, "Who's the Huni?" Like, what is this guy? He's random solo queue player. When I just joined Fnatic, when I moved to SKT, also like there was a lot of criticizes that like he's washed off from 2016. Like Gamer was like he's playing so bad right now. Like why you guys are picking up? But like who cares? like all the matters about like how the going, like longer, like how much you actually being ends up at end of the year, going wars, going like MSI or a summer playoff, like spring playoff. I think that's all the matter. Like I don't really care. I think I take more. I take it more about like how I've been performing. But honestly, like let's go back to my individual performance right now. Is like I'm not really satisfied honestly too.
Yeah.
So like I take those. Like it's good. Chris says that I'm not playing well, and I think I'm not even playing well, like better than last summer split, because just what is happening right now.
Well, I was going to ask you, what is your perception or your belief on how you have played the last couple of years? Because I do think some people feel as though, you perhaps aren't as good as SKT Huni, and that you haven't played as well over the past couple of years. So when you look out over the past couple of years, what do you think of your own performance?
I think definitely that like really, I agree. Like I've been kind of like up and down. Like last year, for example, the Dignitas was like not, best season that I could have had it. And I think EG, like I tried my best and was trying like my best, and I think I performed like kind of like way better than Spring Split because I had better teammates, better coaching staff, better org, like those kind of thing, and that really helped. And I think this year I believe like it's gonna be kind of a like slow starter. That even though we're kind of struggling like all the seasons, but I think we're gonna be ends up way higher than what everyone think, or like even what our like that's our perspective, or like my perspective, I guess.
Yeah. Do you feel as though this year you have to kind of prove it, or you have to sort of show it? Because I feel like so many people look at players and they say like, okay, well, they had these great years, but if you start to have a couple bad years, and it sounds like you're saying you felt like last year was not your best, that it starts to perpetuate an issue. Eventually you aren't getting picked up by top orgs. So do you feel like you really have to show it and prove it this year with TSM, or do you feel like your legacy can last long enough that you'll still be, you have still a long runway in front of you?
Well, I think the question is kind of like it's just general, honestly. Like as a professional gamer, like you just have to perform every single year that when you can. So it's not like I'm not like really trying like not as much as I can. Like some seasons, like I take chill. Some seasons I try. It's not like I don't think it's not like that. But honestly, it's like more about I think how the environment works. I think obviously I think I get more motivations when teammates or org or like coaching staff is more motivated. Like definitely I take those like to like personal, that it keeps me motivated, and playing better, has a better attitude, I would say. And yeah, I think I'm obviously as a professional gamer, I'm trying. I think I'm trying every single year that I can as much as I can.
Yeah.
That's why I've been playing for like 6 years.
You have had the opportunity to work with what many consider to be one of the greatest coaches in League of Legends esports history, with Coma. And so I'm curious now, obviously Bjergsen's kind of a rookie coach, right? So
His first time, yeah.
Yeah. So what is it like? And obviously I don't think anybody expects Bjergsen to be Coma right out the door, but like how what are the differences in their approaches for coaching, and what's it been like for you playing with both of these coaches?
I think all the thing that I can say is that Soren's doing well, apparently, like, or definitely, like he's doing well, way better than like what I used to have the Western coaches.
Yeah.
Or like when I was a Fnatic, Daler was really trying hard too. But like by far, I think Soren's like right now is like I'll say one of the most like satisfied work with him. So he's doing well. Like even though it's kind of like even though it could be like different kind of style of the like how the coaching, but it just doesn't matter. I think honestly also coaching when you like judge of the like where the coach level is kind of hard to say. I would say it's more about like coach. I think only can judge by the result. That's what I would assume. But as a player perspective, I'm pretty satisfied. I think that's all that matter. But I think when you're not a player, like let's say when you're a fan or like expert of the like, esports, but I think that has to be like related between results. That's all I would say.
Yeah. No, it's fair. It's fair. And I mean, I'm sure a lot of people would be happy to hear you already saying that Bjergsen is already better than a lot of the coaches that you've worked with in the past. Just
I guess that's all the matter, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. Well, is there anything you want to say to any of the fans out there, Huni?
Thanks for always supporting me / TSM. And we'll be back as a stronger every single week. I will have to promise that see you in the spring playoff also.
Very good. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys bounce back. And thank you so much, Huni, for the interview. For everyone else, you can check out the rest of my coverage of all things LCS right here on my YouTube channel. Did you know that Alienware actually gives me a ton of free reign to say how I want to promote their products and allows me to make really unique outros? And so I'm going to just say, by the way, you can go check out their stuff in the description, but I think they would not mind if I just took a little bit of a different tack this time and said, thank you to Alienware, but also, why don't you go, if you enjoyed this interview, tweet at the player that was in it and say something nice about something that you thought was interesting, or maybe something you've enjoyed about their play recently, because I think in the space that we are all in, sometimes it's a lot easier to criticize than to praise, and I don't know if people realize how nice it is to sometimes just see a nice message from somebody. So again, if you enjoyed this interview or there was something that you thought was quite fun about it, go ahead and hit up the player and let them know. I'm sure they'd appreciate hearing you say that. Let's just go hit them up on Twitter or Instagram or anywhere else.